Well, the 2025 Ontario Junior B Lacrosse League regular season is over, and I swear it feels like the quickest, fastest 8 weeks to ever go by. Feels like just yesterday we were waking up and talking about how April was upon us, and finally, after a long wait where we were defrosting and coming out of hibernation, that the OJBLL season would commence. And now we're down to our final 2 teams. So what happened to the other 23 teams? Welland went 1-19. However, their leading scorer was a rookie who had 41 points. Out of their top 12 scorers, 7 were rookies, and both goalies will also be back next year. With London making the playoffs, they currently own the longest drought in the league. In fact, the last time they made the playoffs, they were called the Welland Generals. That was back in the 2013 season. 3 years ago, you were the Western Conference champions. 2 years ago, you were 14-6. Now, the entire Far West Division is better when you're better. However, last year, you won only 2 games against non-division foes, and this year, you also only won 2 games against non-division foes. Both years, you beat Welland and Hamilton. Hamilton, remember last season, was the number 4 seed. The Clippers should be back in the not-so-distant future. The Pacers have only had 2 playoff appearances since 2008, and this is their 3rd straight playoff miss. They even took a dreaded forfeit loss in Owen Sound, 1-0. However, Mason Brown and Lucas Ross both look like studs, and both are rookies. Plus, the U13 and U15 Sarnia Pacers are both in the OLA A Final Sixes. This looks like the start of something that could be promising within the next 5 years. Not to sound grim, but you lost to Welland. Welland is a team that had over half of their players be rookies. Despite a 2-0 start, everything faltered. That's all. You guys have the unfortunate distinction of being a strong team that's still the weakest in a 5-team division. Oh, and your loss in Owen Sound on June 8th, 10-8, was pretty much the loss that ended your dreams of a postseason berth. Hopefully next time, fate won't be against you and you will be able to find your way through to the postseason despite being in a very strong division. I really felt like you might have been able to put up a fight against either Elora or Orangeville. Well, new brand, new logo, and better results. You won more games this year than you did the last 3 combined. You also tied the Gales in Clarington. Barry, you lost your first 8 games of the seasons before winning your first game in franchise history. That first win, ironically, at Anoa Lagoa against Akwesasne. These guys also won at Halton Hills. They're typical expansion struggles, but I do predict greener pastures for you in the not-so-distant future. Mimico was that strange team that just felt like they were never quite out of playoff contention, but you never thought they were actually going to make it. Mimico ended the season winning 3 of their last 4, but for the most part they were at the bottom of the Southwest Division. This team is competitive and they do have a good power play. Their starting netminder this season was also a rookie. I'm predicting better things are on the horizon for Mimico. During the last 10 days of the regular season, it really felt like Brampton was going to get in. Then they lost their last 5 games in a row to end the season. They lost those last 5 games by an average of 11 goals per. At least this season you felt like there was hope for the Excelsiors. I can't say anything bad. You were playing for Coach Matt Eckert, and you took Orangeville to Game 5. You worked them over twice in your home barn, and you played like a team possessed to end the season. Great job playing for your assistant coach. Welcome back to the playoff dance, boys. It was London's first appearance in the postseason since 2013, and the reward for winning the Far West Division was getting blown out 3 straight games by the defending national champions. I mean, it sucks, but this isn't the only time this happens to somebody, and it's not the only team that it's happened to in the last 2 years. Get back here again while you can. Oh, so the defending national runners-up wanted 6 nations. Oh, you got 6 nations for all 3 of your games in these playoffs. After losing Game 1, Hamilton had a big lead in Game 2 and controlled most of Game 3. They didn't win either of those games. I mean, it sucks. There's nothing really more to add to that. There's no punchline or anything. It's just rough. Come back again. If you lose in this fashion, you might be entitled to financial compensation. Losing 3 straight games after going up 2-0 is tough, especially when 2 of those losses were at home. Game 5 was like an entire playoff series in itself. You went down 6-0 at home and then tied at 7-7 after 2. You then took the lead in the third twice, and then Warren Cook ended your season at home. Cook seemed to be a pretty good acquisition. Sunday, June 8th, Gloucester hammers the Green Gaels on the road to get to 10-7. These guys looked like they'd be getting home floor advantage in the first round of the playoffs, and that was their last victory of the year. They lose their last 3 games to fall to 10-10, and then drop 3 games in a row against their crosstown rival. Of course, Nepean got the better of you guys. Gloucester offensively oozes talent, but on defense they gotta grow a bit. I expect these guys to win a series soon. It's something they have not been able to do so since 1993, which is the longest drought in the Eastern Conference. Well, Halton Hills ended the season strong, but they had uncharacteristic home losses to Mimico and Barrie at the start of the season, which put them in 7th place. Against the Hunters, you fought hard, but in the end, Kahnawake just happened to have the better team. You know these guys will be back. They run the Southeast after all. While blowing a 3-goal lead after coming back from being down 5-0 is enough to go through, and I'll try not to prolong your pain for too much longer. The Gaels scored the series winner with 2 seconds left. You know what's more painful than giving up a series winner with 2 seconds left? Giving up a series winner on your home floor in sudden death overtime. The West Durham Ironheads won their first division crown in 19 seasons. Great job, guys. Your reward is a date with the East's hottest team and the conference MVP in goal. You've been thunderstruck. Last year, when you lost Game 3 in Nepean, you scored 0 goals and took no penalties until the 3rd period. Lucas Rosan broke your hearts in overtime this time, but I think it's safe to say that the rebuild is officially done. Well done. Keep on working. Alright, Orangeville came to play in this series. You only scored 13 goals over 3 games. You dodged death 3 times against Cambridge, but couldn't do so once against the Northmen. Congratulations, St. Kitts, you've won a playoff series for 4 straight seasons. I'd say your goal this season with a young team should have been win a playoff series, and you did that. And then you got stomped by a bitter rival, which I know still leaves something feeling empty in you. Your goalies are super young, and your top 3 playoff scorers feature 2 2007s and a 2008. You know the Rebels will be back. Hey, would you look at that? The Green Gaels won a playoff series for the first time in 3 years. I know I sound dramatic, but this is actually quite a long time for this team. You guys also won that series in sweet fashion, scoring with 2 seconds left to knock out Aurelia. Unfortunately, you came in against the buzzsaw in the Kahnawake Hunters, and the Hunters were just better. Better O, better D, better goaltending, and better in terms of physicality. This year was the first year since 2006 where the Gaels didn't win their division. They actually finished in 3rd place. Even in a down year, they won a playoff series. Well, ain't it the dreaded 2nd round curse? For a 3rd straight year, Nepean runs into a buzzsaw in round 2. This buzzsaw's name is Xavier Delormier, Eastern Conference MVP. Oh, and a monster 3rd period by the Thunder in Game 4 sealed the Knights' fate. They'll be fine. Their defensive scheme is top notch, and a bunch of kids are coming up from U17. This is a young team that was going through a rebuilding year and still finished 3 wins away from making it to the OJBLL final. Alex Delormier and Lucas Rosan are studs. The Eastern Conference MVP and Xavier Delormier, Eastern Conference Coaching Staff of the Year. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year. Of course, that Game 1 double overtime loss at Kahnawake probably still hurts, but I have a feeling we'll be seeing this Thunder team more often than not in the not so distant future. You guys are still young. The Eastern Conference champion Kahnawake Hunters were merely happy to get there last year. Now there's expectations, a hard-hitting back end, and a team seeking revenge. You know that Casey Lahash wants revenge. You know that Owen Rice wants revenge. Sagunu Guachadu Yanis Rice. Side here, this entire Kahnawake Hunters team that was here last year, plus Howie Francis, plus Winter Rivera, plus Jensen White, plus a bunch of brand new additions. Brandon Francis, Brett Bucktooth behind the bench. This team is out for blood. And if they want Elora, they want that championship, they're going to have to go through the champs to get it. And the champs are just as strong as ever. Elora is looking to become the first back-to-back champion since 2016-17, when their rivals, the Orangeville Northmen, won the national championship back-to-back years. Also, that was a rematch. Orangeville played against the Green Gales in both of those years in the OJBLL final. Evan McDougall's incredible. He led the league in scoring. The Jefferson Elora Community Center, it has an incredible home floor advantage. And Elora's depth goes just beyond what I mentioned. Mid-season acquisition, Dylan Davey, JJ Levine, Brett Vince, Nate Renault, Levi Wilson, and a whole bunch of experience from last year's championship team comes into the ring ready for this rematch against the Hunters. Kahnawake, they have a bunch of new acquisitions in the lineup ready to make their presence felt. Cayman Daibo is back. Zane Chief Moon, Jensen White, Bryce Stout, a bunch of new players on the back end ready to take a stab at the national championship as well as the OJBLL championship. Before teams think Founders, of course they gotta think winning their championship with their respective leagues. We can talk this over and over and over and over, and quite frankly, there's still a little bit of a looming controversy, obviously, with the protest. I will only say one thing, however, in that part, and that is Elora won Game 5 on the road 17-1. In my humble opinion, and my unbiased opinion, if you win a road game 17-1, you have earned that right. You have earned that opportunity to represent your conference. And I feel like the two teams that are in this championship game, and championship series rather, deserve to be in this championship series. Hunters and Hawks, let's get it going. We'll see you on Saturday, the 2nd of August at 7 p.m. for Game 1 of this championship series. Anagiwahe.